Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Isani Clayton. Good morning.
It's a lovely Wednesday morning.
Hump
Isani.
Wednesday.
It's Hump
We're
Wednesday.
right at the apex of it. We're at the top of the week.
I remember last week us kind of having different perspectives of what we assume the high of that hump to be. You say Wednesday, and everyone normally says Wednesday. But for me personally, I think the peak of my week is Thursday leaning into Friday, because for me, that means figuratively that it's close, you know, it's coming closer to the weekend. So that's my hump day. But of course, for everyone else, it is hump day. And we hope that you are having a wonderful morning wherever you are, at home, in your cars, local or abroad. Thank you for joining us to start your morning right.
All right. So how's your morning going?
It's going well, Isani. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit late. Well, my definition of late this morning, because I'm an extremely punctual person, if anyone knows me. So I felt like, oh, no, it's like, I was totally like, it felt extremely chaotic this morning, but I'm still extremely early. It's just my definition of late. And I guess it's because I commute every day. So I like to be as early as possible to get in my Zen space and just, you know, smoothly transition
What is
into
a Zen
the day.
space?
Just very calm. I like to be calm. So typically that would look like listening to whatever genre of music I want to listen to at that time, and just preparing my mind for the day, for the morning with you guys. So yeah, that was my morning nonetheless.
You should try supplications.
I'll tell you.
If you're looking for Zen, prayers are the excellent way to go.
Well, of course, prayers are included as you wake up in the morning. But I'll tell you what I did this morning. If you can see in our wide shot, there's something on my table here. This is my first cup of coffee.
Wow.
And I don't drink coffee. So I've been drinking a cup of coffee this morning, and I feel really great. I can't argue. Yeah, you guys have something going on, whoever drinks coffee. But yes, how about yourself?
Man, I'm good. I woke up earlier than usual. Did some reading and went back to sleep.
All right. When you say reading, what do you typically read?
I read everything, man.
You weren't reading the Bible early this morning?
No. To be honest with you, I'm not much of a Bible reader.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've perhaps read it cover to cover when I was a child, but in my adulthood, no, I don't.
Okay.
But I mean, the nature of our job requires us to be, informed and abreast of current events. In my case, it's not like I'm up early reading the news. I was doing my own recreational reading.
That's good.
Things that I find to be interesting.
Yeah.
And it's early morning nourishment of the mind, let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, whatever it is that you do to put yourself in that headspace to start the day. I mean, for a lot of people, I'm sure they do read in the morning as well. So yeah, if it's meditation, prayer, reading, just preparing that first cup of coffee, as I said, whatever it is to get you having your morning start just right for you. But we're going to move into what's buzzing. And we have a couple of topics to talk about. I do want to start, though, Isani, with a news piece that was covered last night in the newscast. And I saw it was particularly interesting because there was talks about bringing in a bamboo industry. But in that same breath, we had to acknowledge the situation of the citrus industry.
Yeah. Well, first things first. The citrus industry has been in dire straits for a number of years. So it's nothing new that the industry is on the brink. in a manner of speaking. I think what is happening now is that it is teetering dangerously, you know, to going defunct, so to speak. And what has happened is the fact that stakeholders in the industry are now seriously considering, if not already, diversifying into other crops. You will appreciate, if you've ever followed any aspect of the of the citrus industry, that for the most part, it's run by personalities. When I say personalities, there's always conflict over this or that, and the big names, the quote-unquote citrus oligarchs, are the ones who control the landscape where the industry is concerned. And so there's constantly a bucking of heads and what have you. And I think because of its own internal politics, it works to the detriment of the citrus growers more than it has helped them to move forward in advancing the industry. And they will also tell you that the industry has been affected severely by HLB, or citrus greening. And while they've tried to get resistant varieties of orange and limes and other citrus products, you know, that has posed a significant challenge to them outside of their annual or seasonal production and the cost on the external market and what have you. But lo and behold, here we are. This was, in a manner of speaking, foreshadowed. I remember a couple months ago, we had the Minister of Agriculture on the set with us discussing the state of the agro-productive sector with a particular focus on citrus. And he had already, not predicted, but already saw this coming, that we are on the verge, on the extreme end of seeing the industry go flat, right? So I guess it's on that backdrop and the fact that I'm mentioning to you that there are serious considerations for diversifying is why now you have this conversation between the private sector and the government to introduce a bamboo industry into the country. You would also appreciate the fact that coconuts as an alternative industry have taken off in the South. You have silkgrass farms that's, you know, managing thousands of acres of coconuts, and that, for all intents and purposes, seems to be a very successful venture. So they're seeing how they could introduce other industries into the agro-productive sector.
Yeah.
But yes, it's not something that, you know, the minister, the area rep just dropped on us at, wow, citrus is going dead. No, this has been mentioned a while back. And you would also, just to continue on that quickly, you'd also remember that a couple of years ago, under the previous administration, serious monies were pumped into the industry to try to resuscitate it, so to speak. Because again, like I've said, this has been an ongoing thing where, you know, the industry and its productivity has been waning for quite a while.
Yeah. What do you think this means? I mean, I imagine the concern, one of the biggest concern is the persons that are employed within this industry. What do you think it means for them?
Well, in the first instance, I think on the face of it, you would be looking at joblessness for persons who have been employed in this area of agriculture for quite some time. Along with that, you would also appreciate that you have the issue of migrant laborers, where people from other Central American countries come into Belize for the purpose of working in the citrus industry, in the banana industry, and the broader agro-productive sector. So these people make their livelihoods from doing the grunt work, in a manner of speaking, coming into Belize, working the orchards, harvesting, planting, and everything that goes into that. So you'd perhaps look at the fact that there will be joblessness in the
Yeah.
first instance, but if you have an alternative industry that is coming up that requires
Laborers.
laborers, then you would probably see a transition from citrus to
That's
any
the hope,
other
yes. Yeah.
industry that comes up.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine the frustration from these laborers. As you mentioned, though, it has been a slow process where we did expect it to become to this, but now perhaps it really making that conversation again in the news. This is where us as the public are having that conversation and questioning what happens next for all parties involved. Of course, the industry itself, but the laborers involved too. What happens
Yeah.
for them? Do they lose their jobs? Do they transition over to whatever new industry is built in the process? But I also want to ask you, what do you think will become out of the bamboo industry?
Well, if you're looking at, and this is just my thoughts here, my point of view. If you're looking at the idea of a new growth industry, then this is an area where we can venture into, because bamboo is used for a variety of different purposes. You could do furniture, you could do, you name it. Bamboo is one of those materials that is multi-purpose. And so when you look at that, and then you look at value added, where you're not only growing and harvesting bamboo, you're actually manufacturing it into specific products or what have you. It's a major revenue generator for the country if it were to be successful a venture, right? But to go back a bit to citrus, though, I think outside of where the situation is at a critical juncture, you look at what the overall economy would lose if, in fact, this were to become a reality, that the citrus industry goes defunct. When you look at GDP, when you look at the overall state of the economy and various revenue generators, income earners, citrus is up there as much as sugar, as much as bananas, and we're talking about the overall agriculture sector, right? Obviously, they vary by percentages, but when you look at that, citrus does have its place in that pie chart, so to speak.
So I would imagine because of that, it's even more important for us to substitute in terms of adding something else.
Well, if you've been looking closely at global trends in economics and what have you, in business, diversification is the thing.
Yeah.
And the pandemic taught us that more than anything else, that you need to be able to branch off into other areas of industry and not just stick with the tried and true. Because there are instances where industries do experience certain shocks, either internal or external forces that work against, the progress of that particular sector.
All right. Well, of course, we will be continuing, definitely following that story.
Yeah.
But I want to move over to a lighter topic, and
Sure.
that is your Culture Tuesday story, Culture Tuesday story that you did.
Yeah. Hey, so I sat with Warren Martinez yesterday to discuss the upcoming release of the Lebeha Drummers' sophomore effort. Right? And I think for me, what kind of took me by surprise, or what I found to be interesting, is the fact that Warren literally grew up with a drum in his hand. When you look at the images of his childhood and to where he is right now, and how proud he is to be a Garifuna drummer. I think that's, and he reminded me as well, right? Because I'm also a Garifuna, proud flag-bearing Garifuna man. He reminded me as well, he said, you know what? It's Garifuna that has taken me around the world, right? It's Garifuna music that I champion that has taken me to far places that the average Belizean probably wouldn't have that opportunity. but it's a matter not only of representing your culture and who you are, but it's like the ultimate diplomat. You're out there representing your country and putting
And
the
who you
country
are,
on
your
the,
identity.
yeah. And I think that's to me one of the most important takeaways from this all.
Yeah. So the idea, I mean, obviously we're talking about his album, but we can see where he really brings his community together as well
Yes.
through his music
Yes.
to embrace being Garifuna and the heritage and the culture.
If you've ever experienced drumming, and I'm saying this as an avid music lover of many genres, right? If you've ever experienced drumming, be it from the Garifuna music that we have here in Belize, or you're listening to African drumming, there's something spiritual about drumming. It speaks direct to the soul, right? And being able to capture that, being able to, you know, pair that with what is called call and response, where you have singers who are on one end saying something, and on the other end they're responding to what is being said in music form,
Yeah.
but it is anchored by the drum. That is an altogether spiritual thing, right? And so for him, growing up around drums, that's everything for him. So that's the other part of the story that really, you know, captivated me.
I want to touch on another topic, just perhaps to close what's buzzing today, and that is 2 days ago we aired our feature that we did. Our colleague April Martinez did a feature with Ambassador Michelle Kwan, and she took her in the Mayan community. They went to San Antonio, and she was really able to immerse herself in the culture that is Mayan. But what we did air in the newscast last night was that the U.S. Ambassador, Michelle Kwan, also did an interview with Shondalan, a well-known, I guess, TV personality, that puts together amazing projects as it pertains to shows and movies as well. The U.S. Ambassador was able to talk about her experience here in Belize. And for me, it was so heartwarming because she really expressed, you know, what it's like to be a part of you know, projects that has been done under her work as the U.S. Ambassador here in Belize. But also,
albeit for a short time.
Exactly.
She's here a few months, yes.
But also really getting that tourist experience with her family as well. And as an example, you know, of our feature, immersing herself in the culture. She called Belize a jewel. She said that she did snorkeling in the Barrier Reef, and it's one of the most beautiful things that she's ever seen. And for me, that was so heartwarming. I don't know what was your reaction to that particular feature that she did.
Well, for me, she's emphasizing what we already know about our country.
Exactly, we know that already.
Right? But, you know, to have someone remind us that what we have here in Belize is to be cherished and treasured, I think that is also something that, you know, I found interesting. Because oftentimes, Sab, we take things for granted, right? And it usually takes the outsider to come in, you know, experience what we have to offer, develop that love, that attraction to the sights and sounds of Belize that reminds us, hey man, it is in fact a jewel.
Yeah, I believe her quote was, because as I said, her and her family snorkeled the Barrier Reef, and she said it was almost too beautiful to be real. And as you said,
surreal.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of us maybe at times taking for granted what we have, because we know about the Barrier Reef all our lives, you know. But for other people on the outside, seeing that for the first time.
But you'd be surprised, despite the fact that 400 and some odd thousand of us live here, many of us haven't ventured beyond the reef to actually see and dive and explore and appreciate the natural marine beauty that is just outside of Belize City or along the coast of Belize.
You know, that brings me to my question then to you. What has been the most, perhaps, what here in Belize had you absolutely awestruck when you experienced it for the first time in person?
Wow, that's a tough question. Simply
you've been
because
around
I've
it,
been
Sam.
everywhere in Belize.
But what
I'll
was
tell you this.
that
I'll tell you
experience
this.
that Michelle Kwan had?
For me, it was a flyover of the Mountain Pine Ridge Range. The Maya Mountains, that entire, seeing the massif from above. Because for whatever reason, I enjoy aerial coverage of certain places. So if I'm watching Nat Geo or Disney Channel or whatever, I'm watching, aerial America, aerial Europe, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it took me back to flying over the Maya Mountain Massif. That just seeing the abundance of green, seeing the mountainscape and everything, to me that was breathtaking.
Yeah.
That was completely breathtaking. It's similar to flying over the Blue Hole. It's different from when you're on the ground, well, in this case, in the sea, and not necessarily taking in the entire breadth of the Blue Hole, right? So I think it's aerial perspectives on certain parts of the country that, to me, completely breathtaking.
Yeah, you really, I think I mean, those are examples of where you feel really small and you recognize that you're a part of something completely bigger, I imagine at least. So I completely agree with that. For me, I haven't had as much experiences as you have. Well, I'll say that first.
Yeah.
But I typically enjoyed the caving, the caving features that we have here in Belize, where you're able to almost kind of go underground and really learn about that culture too. And of course, all the stories that you hear from the tour guides where they say, people were sacrificed here so many hundreds of years ago. And that really
If
gives
you've
you...
ever been to the Chicky Bowl and you ascend to the top of Caracol and you look around from a 360-degree point of view, that is also breathtaking. I mean, just the sheer height of it and, taking in everything that you see all around you. It's an immense, it could be overwhelming, let's put it that way.
One of the things I've been noticing on social media, and perhaps it's just my algorithm with my personal social media, but I've been seeing a lot of people taking on the Victoria Peak recently, a lot of my peers. And that is something that, I don't know, I'm a little bit on the fence about, because I can just imagine how breathtaking that is. But I'm particularly afraid of heights.
Well, let's put it this way. If Rowan Garrell, I don't know if you remember him.
That's visually impaired, yes.
Yes, he did that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
As taxing and grueling as it was, he ascended to the top of Victoria Peak.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that should be the scale, so to speak. He set the standard for that, and if he could do it, then anybody else...
We have no excuse. So my question is, would you ever do it?
Yeah, certainly. I'm always up for a good adventure.
Yeah.
As much as I love nature, I'm always up for that kind of stuff.
And then
I've always said, Sabrina, that the best stories are not the ones that you do from the newsroom. You have to get out in the field and do the hiking and the trekking and all of that stuff to get there.
I mean, look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. But I think what is so really cool about the Victoria Peak experience is that it's not a one day, it's not a few hours experience. You have to be committed to that. You can't change your mind. You can't change your mind. Well,
if you're halfway up the ascent, you can't say, okay, I'll go down back. Yeah, you gotta stick it out.
Yeah, and everything that you see in the forest there as well, the snakes, whatever you'd see.
Wildlife.
I don't know. I'm gonna cheer from, the comfort of the other side of the screen. I'm gonna cheer you on, Isani, when you do it. Please make a story out of it so we can live it with you.
Look, in Belize, we don't have a Mount Everest or a Kilimanjaro or any of those, those really, really high peaks or mountains and what have you. We have the Victoria Peak, right? And I think that in our lifetime, we should, attempt to at least, reach to its height and, appreciate a different view of Belize from there.
What's really amazing, though, there are people that have taken on the Victoria Peak several times, aside from the tour guides, of course. but I was also told that it's something that you have to physically prepare yourself for.
Certainly.
You know, I mean, we imagine because it's not a one-day thing. You're not trekking the entire 24 hours or however long it takes. You get some time to rest, but you still have to prepare yourself physically, mentally for it. And that's something that
I think the mental preparation is equally as important as the physical preparation. Because in a lot of things that we do, it's always mind over matter, right? So when you tell yourself, okay, this is the objective, this is what I want to be able to accomplish, that I'll reach the summit and I will say, I am here, I've done it. But what it takes to get there is where your test is, that challenge of physical endurance, mental stamina, and what have you.
So going back to the U.S. Ambassador Michelle Kwan feature, we've seen her experience the Mayan culture here in Belize. What would you like to see her experience next? If you had your way in terms of culture.
The Garifuna culture.
Of course you'd say that. Is there anything particularly that you would say, no, we have to, this would be the thing that she has to do?
Well, I'll be the front man and pitch it. The Lebeha drummer is go down to Hopkins and immerse yourself in that cultural experience. There's food, there's dance and music, there's everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So while I do encourage people to, experience the Maya culture, the Mestizo culture, the Garifuna culture, and all the other ethnicities and their various cultures in Belize, my own bias is Garifuna.
Of course, right? And that's totally fine.
And I think, I'm saying this, and I'm saying this because it's me saying it.
Yeah.
I think Garifuna is our chief cultural export, right? When you look at everything that Ande Palace has done, when you look at when we're representing Belize outside of the country, we always harken back to, Punta music or the Garifuna culture and that sort of stuff. So that's, like I said, that's my own bias, but that's what I would suggest.
That's totally fine. I asked you, And I would love to see her as well trying to beat a drum or someone teaching her how to punta, how to make a authentic Garifuna meal. I think it would be wonderful. Hopefully that
all of that she would be able to experience.
Yeah, man. Hopefully that could be our next Oye feature with Ambassador Kwan. But of course, we're going to take things on to another conversation in What's Buzzing. Speaking of music and culture and performing, KTV The Remix. We can't not mention KTV The Remix. Of course, we've been teasing it almost every day, and we will continue to do so because we want you to take advantage of this season's KTV. Of course, auditions will be open in just a couple weeks in June, but you're also able to audition online by submitting online videos of yourself singing, and we want you to audition. This year, there's no year better than this year. There's no time better than this time. I mean, Isani, we've been talking about...
Look, if you have the chops, if you have the singing chops, then do your thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's the thing, because... So, of course, this is my biased opinion as well, and I believe a lot of other persons that really enjoy KTV, they have argued, and I guess maybe it's depending by the season, but I've heard judges say, it's not so much about having the best singing voice, but it's having fun and really enjoying just the karaoke experience. And then there's another season where we're focused on the technique of singing. I don't know. That's my view. I think either way, just come and have fun. If you enjoy singing, come out and have fun.
It should be, in my humble opinion, a healthy mix of technical ability and your ability to enjoy stage presence and deliver on a performance. I think when you're judging musicians and artists at work, there are certain criteria that you look for, and technical ability is high up there, but you also have to make use of the stage, and you have to engage your audience and all of these other things.
And of course, you're going to make use of the stage if you're having fun too, because the idea is to just sing and enjoy it. Of course, I want the viewers to know, and whoever is excited about KTV, we've already been getting video submissions. So as we mentioned, it's not too late. The audition, of course, is June 3rd and June 11th. So you are able to come in person if that's what you would like to do, and of course interact with the judges. But if you just want to start with a video audition, of course you can do that as well. Now I know Isani, that you have an extensive background in music as well. You used to work at a radio station, and you typically enjoy everything
Music is my first love.
And that's,
quite
I mean,
honestly.
I'm gonna put you out there right now. Isani is like a music nerd. We talk about the genres that we like, and you know, we listen to our music on our headphones, and Isani has so many technical conversations that it's overwhelming for me even when I hear him talk. But my question to you, do you have any pipes? Can you sing?
Nah.
You can't?
I can't sing.
You're the, you
I'll
be
tell
the
you this
best
much
judge,
though.
but you can't sing.
I'll tell you this much though. I used to dabble in rapping. Yeah, way back in the days. So as much as I'm good with the pen and writing stories,
You're
I'm
good at
also
writing
lyrics and stuff. Yeah,
Really?
I'll admit, yes, I am.
Do you
I
have
haven't in
anything
quite a
saved?
while. I haven't in quite a while, but you know, when you have a healthy love of language and the use of language and how words come together to express thoughts and feelings, it's a natural, it's a given.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just simply parlayed my love for writing lyrics to my love for writing cards.
Cards, yeah. So at what point in your life were you rapping or messing around with
In high
rapping?
school.
In high
Yes,
school.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you made a spit back then.
Yeah, I think I'm still nice, but yeah,
You
I'll
think
leave that there.
But I mean, I'm sure I would love to see something if there, you know, the era that you are in at that time, we weren't recording things, man. It's not on the internet.
Yeah,
That's
this is
the problem.
prehistoric by
Yeah.
by today's standards, right?
That's a blessing and a curse, you know, because of course it's a blessing where you're not able to be embarrassed about things that were recorded in the past, but it's also, you know, a curse because we can't see it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna, you know, close things off with What's Buzzing and move over to our eye opener this morning. I really enjoyed the What's Buzzing discussion. Of course, if there's anything interesting happening online or in the news, we will always be bringing that to you and just touching in deeper and giving our views of what we think it's about as well. Our eye opener this morning is taken from dailyom.com, and of course it goes like this. When somebody continues to open our old wounds on purpose, they must be told that their behavior is no longer welcome. We've all had our buttons pushed to the point where we feel we can't take it anymore. And chances are, we've all pushed somebody else's buttons, with or without knowing it. The button pusher may not be conscious of what they're doing, but in the end, the buttons belong to us. And we are the ones who must deal with what comes up. The more we take responsibility for our own feelings and reactions, the less tender these buttons will be. At the same time, if someone continually opens our wounds so that they never have time to heal, we are well within our rights to set a boundary with that person. Compulsive button pushers who seem to find pleasure or satisfaction in hurting us are not welcomed in our personal space. In the end, knowing where our buttons are enables us to do the work necessary to heal. Freedom comes when we deal with the pain behind the button, thus disconnecting our automatic reaction to being pushed.
I think people who intentionally set out to push your buttons never have your best interest in mind or at heart. They're just doing that to see what your reaction would be. I've had instances where, one particular instance where a former friend of mine, and this is before we became friends, I was caught up in a situation with another friend of mine, and he heard the story many years later. Many years later. He was not even involved, never around, wasn't even a thought or whatsoever. But I found that every time he comes around, he tries to bring up back that incident.
Something that is obviously sensitive to you.
Not really. I mean, we got over it, we moved on. You know, we made amends and moved on, but this individual who was never around at that time seems to only be able to talk about that one thing. And I realized, is it intentional that he's doing this? Is it that he's trying to see what my reaction would be every moment and every time he comes around and raises it? And then I had to make a decision. I said, you know what? Check this out. You stay over there, and I'm good right here. Because if every time you come around, there's nothing else for you to discuss other than something that happened long before you and I were friends, then clearly you don't mean well.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you look at what the eye opener is saying, you have to, one, have the kind of self-control to be able to deal with a situation where someone is constantly pushing your buttons. But at the same time, you have to be able to put your foot down and say, you know what, we'll draw a line here, and I won't let that, what you're saying or doing, bother me, but at the same time, you can't be around. Because people who exist to push your buttons, once they get what they want, they leave you in a damaged or wounded place where it's difficult for you to be able to rebound from that. Because you're either starting to second guess yourself or the way people look at you or what have you. And if you look at this person as someone who you would genuinely want to be close to in terms of friendship or what have you, but all they do is put that knee on your neck by reminding you, by pushing your buttons or whatever, then ultimately you have to make a decision for your own self.
And that's sometimes the hardest part, especially if that person that pushes the buttons is someone that you love. You know, setting a boundary on its own is difficult.
Yeah.
And obviously that coupled with perhaps dealing with an unhealed wound or a wound that you're trying to heal, and it's kind of like they're constantly digging at a scab that's not completely healed as yet. You know, you have to recognize that that person does not mean well. And a lot of times these button pushers kind of camouflage it or hide it with humor. And that for me is one of my biggest pet peeves, persons that really try to get under your skin or try to insult you, humiliate you, but kind of make it seem like it's light humor. No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, if you're a friend, if you care about me, you wouldn't do something that you know would hurt me. You wouldn't do something that you know is sensitive to me, because obviously you wouldn't want that be done to yourselves. Then of course there are button pushers that feel that we're just overly sensitive. So this is a hard conversation all around, I think, but I mean, as the eye opener says, it ultimately comes down to boundaries, setting boundaries, and that is really difficult. I mean, boundaries don't have to look like having a complete brawl or a complete conflict. It could be something as easy and as simple as Isani did, where he said, look, you keep your space, I'll keep mine. You stay there, I'll stay here. And that's about it, and really committing to that, because again, a lot of times you might set your boundaries and you kind of reminisce on what was familiar, maybe a friendship that was there, and you want that old friendship after a time passed, and you kind of forget how that wound felt when they pushed your buttons. And then they remind you again that they know exactly how to push that button and where exactly they need to go to get under your skin. So it's really reinforcing that constantly, that this is a boundary that you will set and you do want to be respected. I enjoyed this eye opener, and I think it's difficult. It requires a lot of self-talk and reminding yourself of your worth, why you should not be pushed in that way, why no one deserves that. Because even you might defend yourself when your buttons are pushed, but it's also okay to defend someone else when you see that their buttons are being pushed. And you know, that could also look like bullying, but of course it really comes down to standing up for yourself and standing up for others as well. All right, well, we are going into the weather this morning, and of course, Isani, the weather is lovely. I am enjoying it. We talked about it. It's still lovely. It's not too hot. It's not too rainy. It's just my type of weather. I mean, of course, I always talk about it. I typically prefer the dry. I don't like the muck, but this is just right for me. You know, the tree bears. This one is just right. But of course, we're going to move into the weather report from the National Meteorological Service, and we have an audio that we will be playing right now.
Good morning. Mainly fair and warm weather will prevail over the next few days. The 24-hour forecast is for mostly sunny and hot conditions today and clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. Except for the chance of an isolated thunderstorm developing over the mountains this afternoon, little or no rain will occur. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and the seas will be slight. Maximum temperatures today will be around 89 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 97 inland, but only 84 degrees up in the mountains. Residents, especially those inland, are advised to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activity as much as possible, especially during the afternoon hours. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for continuing fair and warm weather. There is a high tide at 8:02 this morning, and the low follows at 3:06 this afternoon. Another high comes up at 9:19 tonight, and another low at 2:31 tomorrow morning. The sun rose at 5:19 this morning and will set at 6:18 this evening. The moon sets at 4:41 this evening and comes up again at 4:27 tomorrow morning. In the sarcasm update, observations from several coastal locations across the country show that more sargassum mats continue to drift in on a daily basis. Based on latest satellite imagery, more mats are approaching, and so we can expect a similar trend during the next few days. In the fire risk forecast, the risk for forest and brush fires will be moderate for today. With that, we end this report from the Belize Weather Bureau.
Right, that was the weather report from the National Meteorological Service, and as you heard, it's going to continue pretty much the same. Of course, we welcome this type of weather. Whatever you're praying for, rain or dry, we hope that at least we get it in between, because we like a healthy balance over here.
Definitely.
But of course, we're going to talk about the show lineup this morning, and we have some great conversations on the show this morning, starting with DFC. You know, it's graduation season, and around this time, as we celebrate completing a milestone, a lot of times we're starting another one. So for graduates, a lot of us are maybe considering what's the next step if you want to continue into another, school, or continuing to get another degree. And that oftentimes involves the conversation of loans or working, but we will be joined by DFC to talk about student loans.
Our second conversation this morning is with the Port Loyola Football Club. They have an upcoming soccer match that they will be participating in, and so they're going to use the time with us to talk all about the upcoming match as well as the development of their team as they prepare to face the Pirates this weekend.
Wonderful. It's an exciting weekend. I always enjoy, Sani, when we have a weekend that's filled with activities where you can choose from several different things.
Yes.
Just like last week, it was filled with activities for mothers, and hopefully it continues the same this week, because we love recreation for the family. So I'm looking forward to that conversation as well. But of course, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we will be joined by DFC. Don't go away.
For Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Moms, you rule the galaxy, and we know that keeping your family close is the most important thing to you. With Samsung, our phones keep you connected with your loved ones no matter where you are at any time. Capture every moment with our state-of-the-art camera technology on our S-series phones such as the Galaxy S20 FE, S23, S23 Plus, and S23 Ultra. Make Mother's Day a day she'll never forget. Make memories that last a lifetime when you gift her the Galaxy A-series phone starting as low as $309. Celebrate Mother's Day with Samsung, because moms rule the galaxy.
usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
And welcome back. Our first segment, as discussed prior to the commercial break, is with our friends from the Development Finance Corporation as they join us to talk about accessing finance for school. We have been joined in studio this morning by my childhood friend, Senior Marketing Officer at the DFC, Hipólito Bautista. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey.
And we also have been joined by Relationship Officer for the Belize City branch of the DFC, Maria Herrera.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So we mentioned earlier that we're going into the graduation season, and students, and in some cases their parents, are contemplating the next step in terms of the academic journey and would perhaps be interested in finding out how they would be able to either secure a student loan or to be able to get the kind of financial assistance that they would need for their child or for themselves. So let's start there to have a conversation as it concerns the ease of being able to do business with the DFC.
All right. Well, again, thanks for having us on this morning, guys. Yeah, so education loans, that is what DFC does, no? In addition to a few other which we can touch on a bit later. But we pretty much are a go-to institution for education financing. We have a specialized program designed for students, and the features of that program is what makes it attractive and makes education financing accessible, no? So we do go into what we call student season right now, and then equally in the later part of the year, December, November, December, for that cycle that starts. But students can access financing from DFC right now online. This is actually the first program that we actually created a full-featured online platform. So you can access it from DFC's website, or you go to apply.dfcbelize.org, and they will be able to provide all the information and upload all the documents which are needed for that. So one, ease of access. Now you don't have to go into a DFC office anymore, manually take the trip there from the comfort of your own home. You're able to submit your application completely, no? That's one. So we offer too for studies which are locally or abroad. So if someone wants to go abroad and study, we offer financing for that if they want to go and study at one of the local universities. The other scope, we offer, not for high school, so I just want to make that point, because we do get a lot of queries if we offer financing for high school. We offer from vocational, so if a student wants to go to IT vet for some type of specialized technical training, we offer for that. We offer from sixth form, associates, bachelor's, master's, up to doctorate, as well as certification also, right? So all of that. I can let my colleagues speak on some of the requirements, etc., which would be needed.
Okay. Thank you for having us here today. We really appreciate it, because we all want our Belizean audience to know that they can come to DFC. We are here to assist, to make your dream come true. For our student loan package, it's very simple. You know you want to pursue further education, so first thing is the acceptance letter from the institution. We must have that. Your ID, your proof of address. For collateral, we have this special program, line of credit, the CDB, where it's very flexible. We go up to 40,000 for one guarantor. There are some requirements that at times, once you fall within those requirements, you can do the loan and sign only on promissory notes. We also would require your transcript if needed. If not, we just need that acceptance letter, your ID, your utility bill for proof of address, and we start the appraisal. It shouldn't take long. Student loans are very simple. Within a span of 4 weeks, you're supposed to have your money coming in. It's just for paperwork to get through your signing, and that's
Can you leverage a student loan with perhaps some form of collateral? For instance, if you have property that you would say, okay, I will use this asset to be able to collateralize.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there are two things with that. If you're accessing a smaller amount, so let's say you're studying locally here, and you're accessing up to 20,000, as she mentioned, there's a specialized program at 40, but general up to 20,000. A student doesn't necessarily need that collateral, because we know everybody doesn't have. It pretty much is just one or two guarantors who can support. Again, they don't pay anything or so. It's just as a security measure in the event of. So again, we can get into some of the benefits of a student loan. That's one of them, right? Now, if it's it's in excess of $20,000 or in a special line of credit, as she mentioned, up to $40,000, then that real estate collateral would be a requirement because of the size of the loan and the risk averse nature of that loan. No,
I wanna reel things back a little bit. It's graduation season, and we're celebrating the success of these students, and a lot of the conversations that are following right now is to continue or not to continue because of the investment, obviously. There are a lot of families and people that are they embrace student loans, but also a lot of people aren't, because of the fact that you are indebting yourself before you even complete a degree. You're not even certain if you'll start working right away after. How would you encourage someone to still get a student loan when you know that, that's a very real reality?
Great question, great question. So, it is an investment, right? And it is a sound investment for someone to pursue their bachelor's degree, their master's degree. It does come at a pretty penny, a cost. However, it does open up the possibilities and opportunities for you to be able to, if it's employment, to garner a higher income at that point in time. Benefit as well, something came to mind when you talk about benefit. A person who accesses financing from DFC, while they're studying, to make it again easy for them, only the interest can be paid during that time that they're studying. So there's no significant financial stress on the parent of that student, or if it's a person who's employed already, on that individual, until such time that they complete their studies, right? DFC equally gives an additional, so let's say you completed your studies at this point in time, and now we actually give an opportunity, we call it a grace period, for additional 6 months after that person has completed their study, to be able to afford them some time that they will be able to seek employment if that is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's say someone finishes their bachelor's but they're going on for their master's. Again, this is another benefit or feature of the student loan program that DFC offers. They would be able, as so long as they can meet the security the security for that loan, they can access additional financing. So it's not, I owe a DFC this amount of money now, so I can't go and study further, or this opportunity arose and I can't capitalize on it because I have this debt obligation already. That person can continue their studies, go on for their master's or any other level of degree, and then again until the point in time that they return to Belize, they seek employment or gain employment, then they can be able to service the loan. So again, it's a good and sound investment. You're talking about, God forbid something happens, but years in your future, that will serve you well. We encourage persons to secure higher education, and equally the features that DFC offers makes it financially possible.
I have a question. I think I'm finding this a bit interesting.
Yes, sir.
Do you have borrowers who transition from, for instance, student loans to home ownership? Like they go the full course with DFC to say, for instance, I am a student, I've done my bachelor's or my master's, and then I say, okay, I'm already making payments towards this particular loan, perhaps at a halfway point, but now I'm interested in owning a property. Do you have those kinds of people?
We have.
Can you speak a bit about that?
For those, because sometimes you have completed your educational loan, right? So we use your debt servicing ratio of your salary to service your student loan. Then you come and you want a housing loan. For you to qualify for the housing, we would restructure your student loan to reduce the payment while you service your home loan. You qualify for your home loan, so you can pay your student loan and pay your home loan at the same time within an affordable loan payment. Yes, so
I
we
also
do
want to
that.
know. I want to know this. Suppose I got a scholarship after I completed my bachelor's, which I got a student loan for. How does that work? Where I don't necessarily need another loan to continue to do my master's. Do I have to still start paying completely for my bachelor's, or can I continue with the interest rates while on my scholarship?
Yes, ma'am. You can continue with your interest payment while you study for your master's. So we give you that grace to complete your master's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also brought something to mind too. 2 points, no? One is that you may be approved a certain amount for a student loan. So let's say someone is going abroad to study, and they, well, at that point in time, I need X amount of money. And again, just as a punch here, that amount that they access is not only exclusively for what they need for the tuition, they can also get for fees, they can also get for traveling, they can also get for boarding and lodging if needs be. Also equipment, laptops, books, etc.
That's if they are studying abroad.
Both locally or abroad.
Locally,
both local.
as
So
well.
let's say we have someone who's studying at UB in Belmopan, but they're from Toledo.
Yeah.
And they need to put boarding and lodging as well as travel. Those can be covered as well. But the point I was making is that, okay, so let's say that person goes abroad, or if it's locally here, and then they get a scholarship, a work scholarship or whatever at that point in time. They say, okay, you know what, DFC, I know I committed to 20,000 or 50,000, but my scholarship is not going to cover half of that. As long as they provide proof of that, they're not obligated now, oh, you got a loan approved of X amount, so you're required to pay that. Another way that we make it affordable, and again, the design of the program, is if a person, as they're not charged the interest on the full amount from the get-go. They are charged interest only as what we call drawdown, as they use it, no? So let's say for the first semester here in Belize, if it's 3,000, they got a loan of 15,000, but they drew down 3,000 for the first semester. For that period of time, it's only on that.
So the interest of 3,000,
yes.
so it's not fixed to the entire amount that they borrowed.
Yes, as then they draw down and they pull down the full amount, it is applied. But it's another feature that makes it more affordable at the end of the day for that student.
Yeah.
You know?
And that is why your scholarship can come in, and then you won't need the undisbursed balances. So you only use what you have drawn down from DFC, and if your scholarship can cover the balance, well, you don't need to draw down the full 15,000.
So with all of these features in place, and with all of the promotions that you guys have for students to be able to access these facilities, what has the reception been over time? You find that people gravitate to DFC for these express purposes?
Yes, sir. We have had students, many students that have approached us. We have assisted them. We have met some that they cannot afford the interest payment, so we finance the interest and the insurance as well during the time they are studying. And to note is that the students, they pay an insurance on their life. God forbid they pass away, the insurance would clear out the debt.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. So we have that.
So yes, Isani, definitely so. Similar to how you said, like one of DFC's customers may have a student loan, but they move into the home loan. Equally, they continue their education because, again, the trend has been pursuit of higher education. So we have students who go from associates, bachelor's, master's at the minimum, no? And equally, DFC is not only, some years ago we introduced what we called a special education program, which was for really and truly students who are at higher risk. So there were certain criteria to be able to apply under that. The interest rate was more affordable as well. But this is what DFC does, no? So we realize that, yes, we're financing the need of, let's say, I would say the average student, maybe lower and middle class, etc. But there was a need to also be filled for students who are at higher risk. They come from poor families, etc. And we had that program. We ran it for some years. The monies that we had gotten from this Caribbean Development Bank for that, we have accessed more capital for that, and we have introduced that program now as well. No?
Yeah. Essentially, what we're doing as lender and as borrower is forging a relationship where there's trust on either end of the loan, right? That would allow one to go from perhaps the early stages of education, when we're talking tertiary, but the early stages of tertiary education, to be able to transition into any other areas where monies are needed. Once you have that relationship and that sense of comfort that I'm able to turn to you and say, hey, I need assistance with this aspect of my life. Either I'm moving from getting a job to owning a home, I could come back to you and say, hey, you've helped me all this
as well.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship as well.
Talk a bit about that.
Well, definitely. Again, DFC is there to provide for the as well. DFC we're a development bank, right? So. And I always say this, another core, and this is applicable to all the different financing that DFC provides. Development is a very key word there. You hear bank, you might think commercial bank, right? And this is the key differentiating factor with DFC as a development bank. So we only provide financing to meet the developmental goals of our country and of Belizeans. That's where we're focused. So education is one of them. Home financing, another one of them, because we know, at some point you get your family grows, you need your home access financing there. Entrepreneurship, you may move from employment to self-employed, or your wife might have a business she starts on the side, or she's working. Life happens sometimes, things change, and so you venture into entrepreneurship. We're there to provide that type of financing as well. And most recently, because of what has been transpiring over the past several years about climate action, the government having to meet SDG goals, sustainable development goals. Again, DFC being the bank of the government has now brought on financing to support the adaptation of sustainable energy or climate mitigation measures for Belize. So all of these, and our customers can transition from one type of loan to the other, and that is a history that we have. We have a very, I think it is in excess of 30% of solid customers who retain continuously over time. Yes.
Wonderful.
That's healthy.
Maria, you are a relationship officer. What's the role? What do you do?
We offer loans, we process the loans, we give the loans, we
manage
the loans.
Yes.
So I would imagine you are the first contact with a person that is interested in getting a loan.
Right.
What are the constant concerns that people have when getting a loan, or if they're interested in getting a loan?
Well, when they are interested in getting a loan, you are interested in this money. So the first thing you say, you can pay back. And we trust our clients, but we don't give them excessive financing that they won't be able to pay back. So we calculate the amount they can be able to pay back, so that stay within their affordability, because we don't want to strain our clients to not be able to pay on the longer run. We want you to comfortably pay your debt and stay within that good credit history, so you can come back and do more financing with DFC.
She sparked a brain cell there, no? And again, features or reason and purpose that we serve. Think about it. This is applicable to business financing. So someone comes and, when you have a business idea, man, guaranteed this is going to fly, this is going to work. You're very passionate about it. And for you, again, you have that sense that it will work. So you come to DFC for financing, which we're there for that. But what she touched on is that we provide We provide another punch, free of cost, that project review, that project, we call it a project appraisal.
Yeah.
And so what that person or that customer that comes to DFC, prospective customer, they're tapping into the years of experience that DFC has across industries in Belize. And so depending on the level of the project, if it's a micro project, it's much more faster for us to review, etc. Risk factor in terms of value is less. But you're talking equally, you know, larger scale projects, 50,000, 100,000, hundreds of thousands, maybe even in excess of millions. Those require much more intensive project appraisal, of which if you were to have to do that or get that service done privately,
you have to hire a consultant.
You're paying thousands of dollars. With DFC, you do it. But we do the project appraisal for two reasons. Naturally, you can say it first and foremost, we are assessing if it's a viable project, which safeguards DFC interest and the money that we share with, that we would invest in that project, etc. But two, you also look at it like this, because I was mentioning about the guarantee that it would work.
Yeah.
So when you come to us and even you come with your business plan, again, we assess that you might have some elements in that business plan and some elements which are not there, which we assess. That's one. And then two, we, with that market knowledge as well, we can say, well, hey, you know, this person is trying to venture in this type of business, in this particular market. They have, the level of competition is high. And this other risk factor is high, and that other risk factor is high. Two things with that, where we don't shoot down the project simply because it's high, because remember, it's about mitigation.
Yeah.
So we would then advise that customer, can you do this? Can you do that? And sometimes it may require additional capital to do, but if they can do that and they mitigate those risks, then that project becomes viable and we would finance it. If it can't be mitigated, we would, because every bank does, we decline that loan. But declining that loan necessarily isn't a bad thing as well. Why? Because we actually, long story short, save that customer a lot of headache. That customer would have invested in a project where we see 1 year down the road or 2 years down the road would not work. And so versus, let's say, and I'm not paid, but for, let's say, another financial institution where the end goal is to put money in that person's hand, buying that person, it's your problem, it's your issue, sink or swim. That's not DFC's approach. So we actually save that customer. So at that point in time, that customer might be upset because their loan wasn't financed, but we share with them that aspect of it, because you got, sir, madam, you've tapped into very sound, professional, experienced project review, and we're telling you the factor 95% that project would not have been viable. So seek another angle or interest.
I want to go back to something that you touched on earlier, and that's insurance. Because when we talk beneficiary, that's usually another sensitive topic, because you have to find people that believe in you enough to say that, you know, you will pay back for your loan. But you said that insurance comes in the place of if a person passes away. Is that also applicable if they don't pay the loan?
No, that is just for in that case, in the event.
In the event that you pass away.
So to secure
the reason why I think it's important to mention that is that's also a concern of beneficiaries as well. Is that something that you guys recently brought on?
No,
we've had that for quite some time.
Since we started out with the student loans, we have that.
And that's not applicable just to student loans, that's applicable to home financing as well.
Residential.
Caveat though, you should have your account in good standing. You can't be in arrears for a year, 2 years, and then that would be applicable. So in the event that account is in good standing, again, God forbid a situation like that does transpire, again, meeting the developmental goals is not to pass on that financial burden to that next of kin, who may be that child, who may be that wife, etc., or husband, vice versa. And so that's another caveat. And so again, it's affordable because the insurance is built into the loan. It's paid month per month, and that's the purpose.
So in that case, do you have to do a lot of health checks as well to make sure that that person is healthy, or is it just a guarantee? Because usually when you get life insurance, there's a huge process that's involved.
Yeah, that is different. This is on the loan
With the loan.
itself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one is different. The life insurance, that's on your
My next
health.
question is this. What's the process of a person trying to get a loan with DFC if they already have a loan with another lending institution?
Okay.
Do you offer consolidations if that were the case?
Yes. Presently we are offering for the public sector. If you work under GOB, we offer financing to finance the bank and come over to DFC.
She's
Up
referring
to 25% of external obligation we clear out and you come over to DFC.
So she's mentioning about home financing, right? So home financing because initially we didn't offer debt consolidation. A person would not be able to come and say, oh, you know what, I have X amount of loans. And again, we always have to factor the debt ratio. Debt ratio generally for the financial institution is about 45%. I think one or two institutions it goes up to 50%. But we do know that some persons need that. Okay, so we had introduced about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years, 3 years ago, I believe, or we serve home loans. And again, it was because we looked at the market, we saw because this is what DFC does, we look at niches in the market that need financial assistance. So in that way, DFC is great because it breaks into new areas. And sometimes when we do something, either pretty quickly, and this is what happened in this case, the commercial banks enter that area, but that's the purpose of a development bank. We do that when it's met by the commercial banks, then we start to look and we move into another area. So with the We Serve, we realize that, you know what, we have a lot of public officers, a lot of nurses, a lot of police officers, BDF, etc., that need financing, but the salary scale that they have and the realities of life that they have other obligations was hindering them from accessing home financing. Now again, DFC is to provide home financing. So how can we solve this for them? So we had to innovate too. We had to change or modus operandi or business as usual approach. So we offered in that situation to meet the need of those public, because again, they're gainfully employed. They've been employed for years. Normally, when you're with a police department or BDF, etc., it's it's a career thing. And again, as long as they met, so we offered if they were to qualify for a certain amount based on their income, because that's what it's based on, 25% of that can be used to consolidate their debt, which solved the problem, and it just, it was a success. A lot of public offices, etc., access that financing from DFC, and the banks quickly followed in that right. No, so but we don't do it for just across the board.
Yeah.
Business financing. Just to conclude on this, business financing. We do assess it, but that is a business project assessment. Risk matrix factors into that as well. Homes, we do refinancing on a case-by-case basis if it were to reduce the debt burden of that individual, again meeting that goal, and equally if they were to invest in improving the value of that home in some way, shape, or form, so improving the equity that they would,
I had
the
a
asset that they would
question.
have.
So the DFC provides these many wonderful services, but you're operating in a competitive space where when the commercial banks latch onto something, the competition is driven by interest rates and the benefits that the customers are able to receive. How do you remain viable in that atmosphere?
Yeah, that's a very great question, Isani, because it is so a very competitive space. It's a very small market, and so like every other institution, we too have to innovate. And so I can honestly say, especially over the past several years, we have begun to do that. We were on the show, I think about 2 weeks ago, just before the agricultural show, promoting agric, but as well we had spoken on or GCF accreditation, that's the Green Climate Fund accreditation. Now again, niche that is applicable to again projects that would meet green, but would meet climate criteria as well as gender criteria. So it's not for every business under the sun. But again, that would enable us to access on GCFN, it's lower tier financing. For us in Belize, it's large, it's big money. It's 10 million US, 50 million US for different types of projects. Those projects cannot only be, we're not only talking like an individual singular project, or maybe it might be a project of a certain scale, but it has to be sustainable, etc. But it also provides financing now for, let's say, interest groups, the sugarcane farmers to go climate resilient, or NGOs who may pool together to meet the needs, and as long as they meet those criteria. But coming back, accessing, like the CEO said, right? We have to find new cheese, right? And that is one way that we find new cheese, and actually at a more affordable rate that then we can pass on, in a sense, that savings to Belize, ultimately meeting the end goal that DFC is supposed to serve, no?
This year you guys are celebrating 60 years of serving Belize. But, you know, instead of getting into what you guys are doing right now, which we will, I want to talk about the lives that have been changed because of DFC. What are your favorite success stories of people that have borrowed through DFC?
All right, thanks so much for that. And yes, this is our 60th year, 1963 to 2023. And as we've been touching earlier, particularly with education loans, everything, yes, has its criteria, requirements. You know, our customers have to go through a process. And we equally spoke about, to a degree, our purpose, no? And the end goal, as we shared, is to impact the lives of Belizeans. So our slogan for this year, celebrating our 60th anniversary, is changing communities, impacting lives, embracing success, DFC at 60. So I can, you know, I do know of a few projects that we can share. I visited this project for DFC. I think Orfa Diodanes was her name. This was a beautiful project because it has a cross theme. Gender is definitely there. She actually tapped financing from DFC to meet a need. So, boom, you drive up to Orange Walk, and then you have a drive from Orange Walk, and you drive down. It's like almost coming back to Belize. You have to drive down back an hour, and then you reach the village of San Carlos. And San Carlos, while in this day and age, you and I enjoy electricity and light and a cold drink out of a refrigerator, we still have Belizeans living today who don't have those conveniences. And so Orfa, who is the entrepreneurial, her husband, it's an agriculture-based village, and so they're in agriculture, they're farmers, and but she saw that DFC offered solar financing for renewable energy, and she wanted solar panels. So she tapped DFC for that. Long story short, she got that loan approved. But the beauty is now what spurs from that. So now she, one of the few in the village who now elevated her standard of living for herself, her family, her children, to what we normally are accustomed to already, refrigerator, etc. So then that enabled her now to open up a store. Right? She got a loan to expand her store now, and now she has cold drinks, something as simple as that. If the community she shared, they want to have like some type of sale, barbecue, or whatever it may be, they ask her to store their chicken or whatever it may be. Then she opened up a small little eatery with an AC because she's a little distance away from the school. So simply the AC is a pull effect for all the kids who want to go and enjoy. And then they go and have their panadas and garnaches. And so this one thing that she invested in a span of just maybe a window of a year or two, you know, really changed her life. And then too, she became her own income earner. She's not really solely dependent on the income of her husband. And she said, you know what, I mean, we women, she encouraged, you know, women to luchar, to fight, that women can do it. And she loves that if she wants to go to Orange Walk now, she can just pick up and go to Orange Walk, things like that. So that is one of the, I would say, success stories, cross-team, renewable energy, business, gender, female entrepreneurship, things like that.
We also have this case for Mr. Segura. He borrowed for his bus. He started paying and bam, COVID. So he couldn't pay anymore because for COVID, lockdown of the country.
No bus runs like that.
We offered Mr. Segura a moratorium. During this time for the moratorium, he paused on payments. The interest was still running but not due. After COVID, Mr. Segura came in, made arrangements and started paying, and he, at this point of time, he is current and he is so happy because DFC waited for him. So he's so grateful. He's continuing with payments and he's looking forward to buy the upgraded bus that he needs right now.
Wonderful.
There we go.
Yeah.
So as we wrap things up, do you guys have anything planned for the 60th anniversary of DFC?
Well, definitely. 60th anniversary for us is going to be in September. The date is September 27th. We're thinking to do something both to celebrate our customers as well as our staff, not only our staff present, but equally those who have been intrinsic in the development of DFC throughout its life. We have some very seasoned and veteran there. They may work with other FIs, etc. It may be. In July, we're planning to have for our 55th anniversary, we had a business expo here in Belize City at ITVET. And so the plans are in the pipeline for us to have a business fair like that in July, to preempt our September celebration and recognition.
Wonderful.
So yes.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to 60 more years of DFC. Thank you guys so much for the service to Belizean, to development of the country. And we can't wait to see how you guys celebrate 60 years this year as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be joined by Port Loyola to talk about their upcoming football club. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
From now on, when you visit Uno, you will experience an A+ power in all fuels. Dynamax has evolved into Dynamax Plus. The new formula with the ultimate technology and additives provides an A+ power and A+ performance. Dynamax Plus, available in diesel, regular and premium. Try it today and reach further. Uno, a different energy.
We're also, of course, very grateful for the strong support that we have received from the principals, the teachers, the students, and the communities of the 6 schools. We've added 3 additional schools, so there are 9 schools, I think, and we're reaching, I think, over 800 students daily who are being fed under this program. So we now have 9 schools participating in the program in Corozal, Orange Walk, and the Belize districts. The Ministry of Education is deeply committed to supporting this important initiative. which complements and enhances our government's, our Plan Belize National Healthy Start Feeding Program.
When designing your kitchen or bathroom, you want fixtures with functionality and style. Showcase your decor with these kitchen and bath fixtures, keeping in mind that the finish is the start of your design. Choose from our wide selection of Delta, Peerless, American Standard, and Easy Flow, available at Benny's, quality and savings.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer@channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
And welcome back. We are joined by the Port Loyola Football Club to talk about their upcoming football game. And joining us, we have with us Leighton St. Clair, the General Manager of Port Loyola Football Club, Gabriel Taylor, the Marketing and Communications Manager at Port Loyola Football Club, and Ryan Simpson, the Captain and Midfielder. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, let's get things started. Why should we be excited about the Port Loyola Football Club's football game?
Well, at the start of the PLB season, we made a promise to our fans and the Belize City and that we would make playoff. And we're here to tell you that we've did our part and we kept our promise and we have advanced to the semifinals of the PLB closing season. So a lot of excitement is around the game tonight.
All right.
We're playing tonight at the Marion Jones Stadium, 7:30 against San Pedro Pirates. Yes.
What has the journey been like in terms of being able to keep your word to your fans and, of course, to Belize City? What has that been like coming from the start of the season and battling it out all the way to where you guys are right now?
Okay, in the opening season, we were a bit shaky. We didn't have our identity as yet, and we learned a lot of different things late in the opening season. And coming off the opening season into the closing season, we made little adjustments with players, and we started to win, and we started to build a culture, a professional culture. The players bought into the concept from the coaching staff and the owners, and they went on a good momentum. The brotherhood that the team built, and that was the chemistry that they came together. They fought for one another on the field, and we also do group activities, team building activities that motivated them, and all those little small things showed on the field, and we went on a run, and actually we did very good. We did very good. We lost 2 games home against Benke and against Verdes, and we lost another game due to technicalities. We won that on the field, but we lost it due to technicalities. But overall, the season was successful. We had 7 wins, we had 4 draws and 2 losses. So we ended up with 25 points.
Let's hear from the midfielder what the experience has been.
Man, it's been a crazy journey, to be honest. Last season, we finished at number 5 spot. The top 4 qualified for playoff. We finished at number 5. We had 1 game we had to win in Mango Creek, so it was down to the last game. We didn't pull through. We lost that game, so we didn't make it into the playoff. This season, it was like a roller coaster, up and down. We started off like a rocket, straight to the top. We were the undefeated team for most of the regular season. And then the technicality came in with a player that we used that they said that wasn't legal. And then we lost those 3 points. And from there on, we had some issues. But we still managed to qualify at the 3rd position for this season compared to last season. And to be totally honest, this team right now playing at the level that it's playing, I'm sure that we could win the championship.
What is the difference? What do you think has been the change that you guys made to have you progress to where you are now?
It's the attitude, the attitude in players. You know, when you were so close the last time and you say, you know what, I have another chance, and I come back hungry, and I come back and I want it even more, and that's what we did. So that's why when we started this season, we shot straight to the top, because we were still feeling that, how would you say? Yes, that almost.
So close but far away.
Yes, so we shot straight to the top, and that's it, the attitude. The players came back hungry. And then also, like what Mr. St. Clair spoke about, we made some adjustments. We changed certain players, and we brought in other players that were, you know, had that same energy, that drive. And that is what is taking us right now all the way to where we are right now.
Right, so like he said, it was just the personnel change and the change of culture that came with that personnel change, because, you know, not all pieces will fit every time you put them together. So it was just like a puzzle, you know, you put the right pieces together and you got a finished product. That's kind of where we're at right now with the season and everything else.
And also, I would want to say that the veteran leadership of the guys, we have veteran leadership like Ryan, like Jared Davis, like Ian Guinier, like Floyd Jones. Those guys, Brother Turton, those guys led by example, and having good senior players that can get motivation from the other younger players, that changed the attitude, because they already had the positive attitude, the winning attitude, the championship attitude. So the younger players feeding off those guys helped a lot, and everyone got that same desire, that same attitude to say, all right, this is something that we can do, this is something that we can win, and that trample us into winning those games.
Let's go back a bit now. Talk about the history of Port Loyola FC, and perhaps what the challenges may have been coming from that side of Belize City, where, you know, players and residents are stigmatized. What has that been like to overcome public perception and get to where you guys are now?
Okay, I grew up in Port. You know, I could relate to all what you're saying. Port Loyola, the community is, they say the south side. And what I do, I am a positive person. I always try to look at the positive side of things. And I've found out growing up, I found out that the youths in our neighborhood gravitate to football, especially football. Basketball is there, but football. And over my journey, I could say that we have gotten youths that are very, very talented. We have the Yarborough community, we have the Cumberbatch community, all that stretch of the 2 football field in the Port Loyola community generated some very talented football players. I could say right now, the energy that the football has brought to the community has changed our community totally. We don't have so many violence in our community. I can't remember the last time someone actually got hurt or harmed in our community, because everybody, the owners and the management and the players, we try to hold our fans accountable also, our people in the community also, because we invite them out, we offer tickets to them, we build the community around the football team to follow us. So the energy that the team brings, the fan base and the community is welcoming, and that transfers. So less violence in the community. The people them that are, maybe you say that the bad ones in the community kind of really simmer down a lot, because they know that we have something good here going on, and we're leading by example for the Port Loyola community. And
it's something that the entire community looks forward to.
Yes.
You know, it's a recreational activity even for their families as well.
Yes, these past 3 weeks where the PLB had been on a hold because of the Verdes and San Pedro issue, then the fans are always asking the individuals from Southside, when the game, we're excited, we're proud or no, you know. So it has really brought the community together, and also Port tries to do a lot of activities in the community to also engage them, you know, for giving back. And we also have the first division team that also plays, and then we try to also, us as players from the senior team, from the semi-pro team, so I try to work with the younger players and the younger generation and the youth. We try to encourage them to always come out in the evening to be around us, you know?
Yeah.
So we actually have that grassroots team that he was talking about with the first division, that we actually have the younger guys around the area, just give them something positive to do and something positive to look forward to. You know, a lot of kids in the area never had the opportunity to play football at a level. To come out here, get a little jersey, some football boots, a little bit of something to look forward to. And then that gives them aspiration from that level to maybe get to the PLB level one day. So, you know, it's bigger than just football at this point. It's a community outreach, and then from the community we're reaching out to the city as a wider aspect.
So let's go back to the game for tonight. What has the preparation been like, both physically and of course mentally, to face off against your opponents, the Pirates?
Man, as a player and to also keep my team focused, it's been a little bit, I'd say a little bit rough.
Okay.
Because
why rough?
It's rough because with the situation with the PLB and Verdes and San Pedro, that situation, and then we were so excited after qualifying and then looking forward to playing the weekend, and then from there you hear, oh, there's a protest. And then from there, there's no game this weekend. And then you say, okay, well, then there's no game this weekend, so we prepare for next weekend. And then you hear the weekend coming and there's still no game. And then, you know, so that...
It delays their anticipation,
yes,
right?
and the excitement and that adrenaline falls a little bit. But as soon as we heard that the game would be playing and San Pedro and Verdes played their game, it was right back on. The switch was automatic. And the players have been out there every day, every single day, big numbers, working hard, getting ready, because the thing about it is that as a team, we have been saying this for a long time. It's not for us, it's for the city. It's for the city because the city hasn't had a semi-pro team in a long time, much less a champion and want to make it into the playoff. So we're excited. Mentally, we are focused.
I think you have to look at certain situations as the glass being half full as opposed to half empty, right?
Yes.
So the stall in the season would have given you guys more time to be able to practice and get it together in a sense, right?
Yes,
because if you were to continue with this season in its regular course, you would have already faced your opponent, and whatever that outcome would have been, But the fact that you did not get that immediate opportunity, you get an extra couple of weeks to get some sweat going, right?
So is it just the anticipation of wanting to get to that point now, what you missed the last time?
That's one of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger thing is to actually win a championship for the city, because it's been so long. I remember the last time, the time I won a championship for Dangriga, it was close to 20-something years they hadn't won. And when we won that championship, the whole town celebrated. So I'm anticipating it is going to be the same thing here in Belize City. Like right now, our fan base is it is growing like crazy, because it's been a while since Belize City have had football at this level to actually go out and cheer for a winning team. And so imagine winning the championship, right? So it's going to be even bigger, I believe.
Let me toss this over to you, Gabe. How do you, one, encourage the team as a marketing and communications guy? And how do you then rally the fans to come out for something such as this?
Right, so the way how we would actually rally the team is through the team building activities, like Mr. Sinclair said. Every Thursday or so at the end of the week for practice, we would have a team building activity where we would have the team over. We'd have some food, for birthdays. We celebrate every player's birthday, make everybody feel, special and feel like they have a special place on this team. And then the marketing does itself. I mean, people support a winning thing. If you were losing, the marketing would be a lot harder. But I mean, if you're winning and then people see that you're winning and you're getting to a level where, they would be willing to support a winning thing, it kind of does itself. So basically the ads, the flyers, the events, whatever we do, it all ties into what we're trying to achieve at the end of the day. Like he said, last year we went to Mango Creek and we didn't complete the mission, but the team from Mango Creek eventually won the championship. So we ran into a really good club. Now we're here, we're top 4 because of situations that happened on the field. For whatever reason, we're not where we should have been, but we're not a regular 3rd seed. If you could look back at the tape, we should be a lot higher than where we are, but we'll take it and we'll accept the challenges. Tonight, we actually play at 7:30. Murray and Jones, you guys can come out, support the thing. It's a $15 admission at the gate. There's a whole lot of giveaways there. We give away phones, tablets to kids. We give the kids opportunities to come on the field at halftime, get a little goal or something out there just to build their heart, build their little anticipation for the next game.
So with that said, I know you guys have some giveaways for tickets, correct?
Right.
For fans out there who may want to attend tonight's game, and you have several questions that you want to ask.
Right.
Okay, let's get into that.
Okay, the first question would be, can someone name the number for Latrell Milton, or midfielder, the player number for Latrell Milton? He is our starting center midfield with Ryan. He starts in the middle with Ryan.
Okay, and your second question. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to announce the winner after the break, and we'll just have the tickets here for them that they can get from us.
Yes, we could have that, or we could get their name and they could.
Perfect.
You could get the next question.
Yeah. You just get the name and we can leave the name at the gate, so whenever you come in, it's already set for
All
you.
right, perfect.
So that's the first question.
That's the first question.
Kindly repeat it and then go to the second question.
Can someone give us the number for Latrell Milton, the player number for Latrell Milton? He is our starting center midfield. Latrell Milton.
Latrell Middleton.
Your second question?
And the second question is, which player from Port FC, or which 2 players from Port FC represented Belize on the national team?
Which 2 players from the Port FC
represented Belize on the national team?
All right. So guys, comment on our Facebook page or right in the comment section the answers for both of these, and you get a chance to get a free ticket to attend the game tonight.
Yes.
All right.
Before we leave, what I want to give you guys is an opportunity to reach out to your fans, reach out to Belize City to come out and support the game tonight.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yes. Reaching out to our fans, I wanted to mention about our fans. I believe that we have the best fan base. Like when you were talking about marketing, I always go on my Facebook and I see our fans actually promoting the game for us. That would be putting it on their Facebook page, putting it on the status. So we want to say thank you so much. You guys you don't know how much you motivate us. and we will need your support tonight. All right, this is the first game of the playoff. We will need your support. We will need that energy. We will need that noise. So come out, support. It's been a while. I know we have you guys waiting, but we will ensure that we do our best, 110% tonight to get this victory. All right.
Yeah. Like what Ryan said, I would like to say thanks to all our fans, or fans from our community, or fans from the Belize City football family. Thank you so much for the support that you have given us over the season. We will represent you proudly, and we want you to come out and enjoy a good game. Cheer for us. And that I would also like to big up our sponsors, Club Bizzo, Kifam Palm Shop, Honorable Gilroy Usher, Life Skills Multipurpose, Garcia Motors. Thank you very much for continuing supporting us from day one. They've been with us, and every week they support us. I'd like to big up the owners, Mr. Alex Underwood and Ms. Aisha Young. Thank you for championing this team. We're very grateful for you all.
And just for the fans, we want to thank you again for supporting us from the city. I mean, the fan base does extend beyond the city. We have fans from north to south that support us. You know, they buy jerseys, they come to the games, they travel with us whenever we are going from north to south, playing from game to game. We want to thank you guys for supporting us this season. I mean, the journey is not done. We have a lot more work to do, but we are starting tonight. 7:30, the first game of the PLB semifinals, and come out, guys. We'll give you a good show.
Right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We can't wait to hear how you guys bring that trophy home.
Yes, definitely.
To Belize City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, so much. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we wrap up.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith." On day 6 of the ill-fated mission of Apollo 13, the astronauts needed to make a critical course correction. If they failed, they might not return to Earth. To conserve power, they shut down the onboard computer that steered the craft. Yet the astronauts needed to conduct a 39-second burn of the main engine. How could they steer the craft? Astronaut Jim Lovell determined that if they could keep a fixed point in space in view through their tiny window, they could steer the craft manually. That focal point turned out to be their destination, the Earth. For 39 agonizing seconds, Lovell focused on keeping the Earth in view. And by not losing sight of that reference point, the 3 astronauts avoided disaster. The Bible also reminds us that in order for us to finish our life mission successfully, that we need to fix our eyes on Jesus Christ, the author and the finisher of our faith. May God help you to finish with Jesus being the focal point of your life. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Join us on May 20th at DigiPark in Belize City for EU in the Park. A fun-filled festival day with activities for the entire family, including live performance by Pen Caetano and band, face painting, art, yoga, and dance classes for adults and children. 2 European films on screen, giveaways, and so much more. The event is free and open to the public. While enjoying the fun, learn about European countries and discover information on scholarship opportunities to study in Europe. The fun starts at 2 p.m. with films from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. See you there!
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect Investment Services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment Services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why Investment Services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome.
Oran Windows.
Welcome.
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at Mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget.
Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
And we are back wrapping things up. And of course, we had two great conversations this morning. We started things off with DFC just in time for graduation season. If you're looking for options on how you can further your education, of course, that's only one part of what DFC offers. They are a lending institution that would definitely be an option for you.
Certainly. And perhaps we take this opportunity to encourage students or their parents that if you're looking for financial assistance going through tertiary education, then DFC is a good place for you to stop and find out what they're offering that may suit your particular need. And of course, we want to wish the Port Loyola FC the best of luck tonight as they represent Belize City in the semifinals. The first matchup for this leg of the competition that will be played against the Pirates at the Marion Jones at 7:30 p.m.
Of course, we did leave things off with a question that you could answer to win a ticket. And that question was to name two players that represented Belize on the national team. And we have a winner to announce. We want to invite Kimberlyn Jocelyn to come by for a ticket, or I believe you could always just go to the game and mention your name and you get a free entrance in. So congratulations to you. We want to say, of course, though, thank you guys so much for joining us wherever you were. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you just want to give a birthday shout out, you can send us an email at oie@channel5belize.com. Of course, though, tune in again tomorrow on our Facebook page at Channel 5 BZ. Check out behind the scenes on Instagram at OYEBZ as well. But make sure to join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
to start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a great one, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.